Recordings in progress.
All right, I'll call the meeting to order and welcome everybody to March 28th, Park Board meeting. We'll start out with the review and approval of the minutes from the February 28th meeting. I'll note there is one adjustment that needs to be made regarding the wording of the basketball hoop height. That'll be changed to possibly of adding a basketball hoop lower than the 10-foot regulation height. I'll pass this down to you, Holly. So you have that. Are there any other questions, revisions, concerns regarding the minutes? If not, do I hear a motion to approve the amended minutes?
I'll make a motion.
Dan?
I'll make a second.
Second, Ryan. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the motions are approved as amended.
One, because I'm new in there. Where I live, 361. Do you have the minutes from before?
Yes.
Thank you.
Here's the agenda.
I'll make it one minute more from me.
Yeah, look how fat, that was nice.
Take this opportunity to welcome our visitors this evening, and does anybody have anything they'd like to present to the park board tonight?
Well, we just moved there in last July, and not even a year there.
Okay. And where do you live?
In Belcourt,
Belcourt.
yes.
Awesome.
Nice.
Well, welcome.
Welcome to the neighborhood.
Thanks for coming out.
Isn't there meeting downstairs?
Oh, were you here for the homeowners association?
Yeah.
That's downstairs.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Yes, it is.
this is the park board meeting.
That's.
Come back and visit us another time. The elevator, you need the elevator.
The two ladies in the sack.
And
Did the Historical Society have anything to report this evening?
We do, just as a general thing relative to the park sites. We had contracted last year quarterly pest control review and treatments if necessary. And we're going to be reducing that to twice a year rather than he was, spraying for yellow jackets, mice traps. That seems to be the big thing over the winter in the homes and things like this, but yeah, so just
Was there advice to keep it at quarterly? Is it a cost reduction type thing?
yeah, it is.
It's cost reduction. Is the pest control service saying it should be kept on a quarterly ideally? Oh. Well, let's pose it as a question and make sure that
Okay,
they don't have any outlying concerns with switching it
okay.
to semi-annual.
So it winds up being about 4.25 per $4.25 per quarter.
Okay.
For the treatments.
Good to
for
know.
how many buildings?
Great. It's Birdie Mill, Jacob Wright, and Hackett Plains.
And the 425 covers all properties per quarter.
Yes,
Okay.
actually just the houses. He doesn't do outside. If we notice a yellow jacket nest or or something under, so take care of that.
Okay. Yeah, let's pose it as a question. And then if it's not fitting into your budget and they're still recommending quarterly, I guess we need to talk about that then.
Okay.
I'd rather do it that way. Is everybody else in agreement? I mean, because we want to keep the places
Yeah.
protected and make sure. Right. Okay, thank you. Are there any, we just got this report here, so
Do you-
we can
do you
follow
want-
along.
Do you want to continue with that, or do you want to the park sites?
Yeah, let's just continue with that. We'll go right down your items.
All right, this shed, was done last year at Berkeley Mill. They put a metal roof on versus cedar, because cedar was just
Yeah,
ridiculous. The next project that he's gonna be looking into is having the barn painted.
Okay.
Again.
is everybody happy with the metal roof results out there?
They seem to be.
Okay,
Ken was really he was the one who, Hales was the one who kind of oversaw it and worked with the contractor. And he seems to be, he seemed very pleased with the job he did.
awesome.
Heckler Plains, next, I was contacted by, the president of the Pennsylvania Historic Barn and Farm Foundation. And now that COVID is over, they typically have it, every year, a weekend barn tour where they pick different barns in certain areas. And he approached us about, showcasing the Heckler barn and having that on their tour. I tried to sell the other two historic barns, but he wasn't having it. But look at, they're all right there. That's going to be early June 2024, but they're going to be doing their legwork this year, so we'll be meeting with him probably in May at the barn, where they take pictures and they do a write-up, and they publish like a booklet that they have. They give out to those who sign up for the barn tour.
Awesome.
Joan, did they provide that stuff to the local newspapers and local outlets, like after they do their footwork and then they publish something? It's be so great. I would love to put it in a newsletter, put it on the website. So well in advance to get generate some. Lot of interest. Or if you have the person's name and I can reach out to them as well.
I could send you this information.
That'd
We're gonna be prepping the garden, getting ready to, for that planting again. With, is it Beth? Science?
Yes.
Yes. She and Sammy talked about a no-till garden, which we were kind of happy to try. Because it's kind of backbreaking to get the beds tilled. They're gonna try that, and we plan to add some more soil to the garden as well. Some of them have gotten pretty low. And perimeter side beds are the ones they had garden ties. However, they've since rotted. And if we know of an Eagle Scout looking for a potential project, that would be a great one. Otherwise, yeah.
I'm so glad you said that. I have someone.
Yeah, otherwise, we'll just maintain it the way they did in the old times and just like rig up and hoe up the soil, which is a pain because it washes down, but. We have shutters that we plan to have painted or paint ourselves, depending on how ambitious we are. And they're gonna be hung at some point this year. They've been in the barn. They're cedar, and I have to make sure that we get the proper paint stain for them. They're gonna be the red color matching the doors, that dark color.
Okay.
We've had a problem with the electrical service in the house. At Carol Night,
Yeah.
we usually have two coffee urns going, one for cider, one for hot chocolate. And if we have both of them plugged in, even if they're in separate parts of the first floor, it kicks the breaker off. And I think it's only 15 amp in there.
So we need an additional
If we
circuit.
could, at some point in time, address that. Bring it up to code. or bring it up to, you know, a stronger amperage.
Okay,
And yes, we did look at the barn doors. I had noticed those too, because you had said that Pete had identified that. And that was, you know, something just to watch. I don't think there's any immediate need to replace them. Because they're well above where the bottom threshold of the barn, of the, you know, the actual entrance into the barn is. So I don't think they need to be done this year.
okay.
But, yeah, down the road, something that would need to be addressed.
That barn does not have gutters on it, right?
No, it does not. And one of the things that, there's an area, I don't know if the road crew or whoever takes care of it, sprays against the base of the barn to prevent, weeds or any kind of plants growing there. But it has started to erode, especially on that one slope. If you're looking at the barn on the right-hand side of the driveway, there in particular, it's there's the soil washes away, and I think that's starting to undermine the foundation.
So like on the barnyard side,
No, on the parking lot side, driveway side.
so on the front,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
It's around the whole perimeter of the barn,
Okay,
but especially notable.
okay,
Because that's where it slopes.
And that recommendation of improving that, the soil maybe, would be consistent. Do you remember when we had out at Rife? We had the expert that gave us an appraisal of the work. Yeah, and he did some in the basement, we've also noted around there. And the maintenance crew took care of that whole perimeter, reinforcing the soil that should be there. So maybe something like that.
okay. That's something then for Doug to get.
And if it presents an issue, then we would certainly take care of like weed whacking there rather than have tall grasses growing up. But I think having the grass grow up to the base of it would certainly help with that.
Okay,
And Jacob Wright, we are looking to get 2 exterior doors to the summer kitchen. The one that faces that little patio out towards the creek is actually an interior door. And it doesn't really fit well. It's very thin. So that's what our project list for this year. Our exterminator had identified a beehive under the siding. If you're looking at the house from the parking lot, just to maybe about 8 to 10 feet to the left of that door to the summer kitchen. The only door that's on that side of the house.
there's some flashing above it.
Yeah.
I feel like, yeah,
And that's where we thought they were yellow jackets, so we had somebody spray, and he was very upset because he said they were honeybees.
Oh, no.
Yeah. We don't know if the nest or the hive is still alive.
I think it's gone.
Do you think it is?
I think so, yeah.
Is it too early to tell, or could,
When we were doing the electric to kind of remove that line that went across,
right,
they were in there working and there was nothing in there.
was there any sign of like, you know, cones or anything?
They, you know what, they kind of lifted up that flashing, because I think there must have been an old shed roof off there, like a little porch roof. So they were under that flashing and everything was dead.
Was it?
Yeah, and if you look at the stone at the bottom, there's some casualties there. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, unfortunately.
okay. And my next questions are, a water source, the house. We were gonna go there and do some cleaning of the interior of it. And we had done that before, but there's no water source and we weren't able to
Yeah, so I can talk about that for a second, because when we were adding the greenhouses, we talked with Doug and some of the other public works crew, and what we decided to do was put in a bigger well pump that would actually do both the house and the greenhouse. And it's actually an in-tank well, or so it's like a pressure tank that's in the well. So all the stuff that's in the basement is kind of obsolete. So like that whole pressure tank system is in the well. The problem is we just haven't had Pico out yet to power the well, if that makes sense, because that's going to be on a different panel now that's in the ball. But they are controlled independently. So there is a line that goes to the house and there's a line that goes to the greenhouse. And then they have curb stops where you can turn them on and off independently. It's just we have to wait till Pico comes out and hooks up the electric, and that should be April 13th.
Did you say this Thursday?
No, April 13th.
April, oh, okay.
Yeah, April 13th, they're supposed to come out and hook all that up. Yeah, but then it's an on-demand water system, so it'll be quicker, there's no recycling, it's all underground, so there's no freezing, so even if the house goes cold, it would never freeze, yes. Yeah.
Great.
So. How's the integrity of the plumbing been in the house?
That I couldn't speak to, I've never known it to work, so I don't know how that would be. But as far as our system goes, we hooked up at the well. So we didn't touch anything in the house itself. And that was one of the reasons why we did that, because otherwise we would have to trench to the house and then trench back out. So we said, let's just put one big well pump in
Right,
and then control it independently from the well itself.
so there is the possibility to turn water on to the house, yes? Through the system that's there now, I mean, the one you're setting up?
Yes, on April 13th.
Right, I
Yes,
understand.
yeah.
So my question then, do we need to have the integrity of plumbing in the house?
From what I understand, is there baseboard water heat in there? What's the heat in there? No, it's a blower.
It's lower.
Okay, 'cause somebody told me that there was a broken pipe in it. And that's all I know. And that's why the water was turned off originally.
Right.
But that's just hearsay.
So yeah, I guess we probably do at least need to make sure somebody's in there when it gets turned on. Yeah, that's at the very least. Yeah.
So with the water system, will the indoor bathrooms and toilets be usable?
Yeah, yeah, so we changed nothing to the house. So once it's powered, because again, we put a new 200 amp service in the barn. And that 200 amp service powers the well,
Okay.
rather than running to the house and then back to the well.
Right.
Because we took that aerial line down, wanted to take that pole down that was in the middle of the parking lot.
Good idea.
Yeah,
But yeah, so once that's powered, then you should have complete access to everything that's in the house. Yes.
so then what might be the plan then?
Well, I think people need to be around when it gets turned on and see what happens. I mean, for the initial. The
Maybe
initial
like-
test. Yeah,
Okay.
I can be there too. I mean, that's no
yeah,
big deal.
we're just gonna have to leave it off until somebody can be in the house.
So.
See what happens.
They could be on it.
You're planning to turn it on the 13th of April, yes?
Plus or minus. I mean, so that would be Pico comes in and they power the barn and the greenhouses and all that on April 13th.
A great idea.
So then sometime within a day or two, then probably our well company will come out and just make sure that the well is running properly and all of that. So I would say maybe by, what's that Monday, the following Monday?
What was the 13th?
I think that's a Wednesday.
Thursday,
Thursday.
yeah.
So I would say by that following week, it would be,
Going to be the. We're projecting to turn the house.
Yeah.
Need people there, when might that date be, so that maybe. Both sides society.
Yeah.
There's township.
I would think it'd probably be sometime that week, and I mean, I can be over there anytime during the day, and I'm sure Doug, it's probably better for Doug to be there during the day.
Right.
So I would say sometime, 9 to 4 the following week.
Yeah.
And I'll call Mayor Well Drilling, that's who did the well for us. And I'll see what their schedule is, and I'll try to get them on the schedule for the day or two after.
Still pressure tested.
They'll pressure test it, they have to set up
Like
all
listen to the
controls.
walls.
Yeah. Yep.
They'll make sure.
So I'll make sure that they're on the schedule. Right after Pico comes out, so that following week, then we can meet with Doug and.
And,
Get everything running.
and then you'll coordinate with us?
Yep, absolutely. And I have your email address. Yep. So I would imagine sometime that week. Yeah, that's,
Okay, for the events that, the, plant exchange, which isn't until, our plant exchange, that
Right.
is, will there be porta johns? Are there porta johns there yet?
we will have one put there, probably within the next couple weeks,
Okay.
and that will stay all summer. But if you, I don't know how many people you're anticipating, but if you would want more than one, then, yeah.
It was mostly just for those of us who were there for the whole event, so.
Oh,
we don't
okay,
have to
sure.
Go elsewhere.
Yeah, no, I'm sure we'll have one. We've had one tucked up against the barn usually. And I would imagine mid-May or mid-April, I'm sorry, we'd have that put back in.
So, the water will be turned on from the house, from the barn for the house, yes?
Correct.
And so then will the boat license side have access to that, will the keys
To,
get to the barn to turn on the water?
oh, once it's on, I mean, you can definitely have access, that's no problem, but once it's on, it's on.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not
yeah.
something that's to be turned off,
No, I mean, that's,
unless there was some kind of a big need.
right. And then actually, there's a big twisty handle outside and that's how you turn it. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, because what we did is we came out of the well and we did a Y. And then you put these things in called curb stops, but they're all 3 feet under the ground. So that we wanted to design a system that never has to be drained, so everything is 3 feet below surface. That way we have water all winter long, the house has water all winter long. And then you just kind of put these long T handles in the ground. And then you can turn them off independently, so one branch goes to the greenhouse. And then one goes to the house and then it's kind of just quarter turn. Yeah,
So the branch that goes to the house, I guess, we just want to make sure there's people in the house
right when that goes on.
watching what
Right.
happens. And
Yeah.
making sure that it's not coming out all over the place.
Well, and if we want, we can just have Mayor Well there,
Cool.
kind of, they can pressure test the house and. Maybe they won't fix anything, but at least we can,
Find out.
yeah, what the problem would be, and then we can find out.
And you want someone from the township there as an inspector?
Sure, if Doug wants to be there or Phil or anybody.
I think it'd be good to have somebody there.
Yeah.
And I think it might,
Oh, yeah,
once the emails start flowing,
yep.
I think it would be really great that Doug Jones is there. And if Doug, because he's only been at the township for 3 years, and I have a feeling the water has been off for longer than 3 years in that home. To chew the ear of possibly John Rubery or one of our other public works people. Who has had experience going out there when there have been leaks that you folks have called about
Yeah.
to,
Make sure all.
yes. So he can have some history with that.
And we may have to add a valve in the basement that when people go there, they can turn it on until we can get everything tuned in.
Yeah, and then, and all the stuff in the basement, I think still works. I mean, there's a pressure tank in there and there's a well switch. Like a pressure switch in there. So I mean, it's all there. It's just, you could just bypass all that. Just leave it all open, but it could be a fail.
All right.
Thank you, Ryan, for all of that.
Yeah, it's a super nice pump. I have pictures if anyone wants to see it.
Well, thanks for the report and thanks for your efforts out there. And looks like you had a busy spring.
You have anything?
I don't think so. Last meeting, we talked a little bit about the roof of the house
Oh,
at
right.
Wright. That's why I did ask about whether the metal roof was acceptable. And everybody's happy with it out there at Bergie Mill.
We
I think-
discussed it at our board meeting and everybody thought that since wooden shingles are just
Yeah,
as ridiculous, that seems a good alternative.
yeah, yeah, the shingles are just out of touch, yeah. I think they're $700 a square or something still. $700 for 100 square feet, just to get the materials.
And those would just be cedar shingles,
Yes,
those shapes.
yeah.
At the
So,
last meeting, Kent did ask me to, or maybe it was January meeting. Kent did ask me to let the township manager know that we wanted to make that a priority this year at. Right, so Doug Jones is getting quotes for the metal roof of the house. And the hope is that that will be done this year.
And then we'll pick a color.
Yeah, oh, yes, definitely. We're
I
not.
think we already did. I think it's fluorescent orange.
Well, the others.
High visibility. Yeah, we'll definitely check in on it, but start thinking about it, I guess. 'Cause
Yes.
that inevitably will be a question.
It really sounds, and on the situation with water and the situation with the roof. I think it's really awesome. And we're very appreciative of
Yeah,
you being on top of it.
I think the only other comment I'd like to make is this, that I think it would be important for us all to get out to Hatfield Historical Society as a field trip sometime. I don't know if we could arrange it prior to a park board meeting. Or on a weekend or something where the rest of this crew could see that, and maybe even some more members. Yeah, I think that's a critical next step in making that
Yeah.
property more of a usable property.
right, and they kind of have, I mean, without us having to reinvent the wheel. You know, follow what they did, it just simple things that they did to make the building ADA compliant and accessible. You know, and kind of give a vision, because we have basically what they had a number of collections and donations and you know, things that the township had been holding on to for a while that needed a home. And that's what we wanted, and we have so many documents and deeds, and even some old wills there, some great Bibles, in that we would like to make, you know, have people have access to.
Yep.
So.
I would argue that we have a lot more stuff than they do.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Just one more point, something to consider maybe in a little longer term, but not too much. Maybe about security at both Wright. And maybe the barn at Heckler and at Bergie, you know.
There is some sort of a system at. Yeah,
But maybe some, what do we have?
It's the motion sensor.
You know, I'm thinking like, I'm worried about
there's definitely fire alarm at Heckler.
at the barn.
Yes, to my knowledge, it's been there, yes. And there's now security cameras. One located at Heckler, is there one at Wright?
Well,
Doug and I, yeah, I think Doug and I had a conversation
one
last week about that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
the township's making a move to add additional measures to hopefully prevent crazy things from happening. We're doing our best anyway, to try. All right, you're welcome. Thanks for coming out again. And sir, I didn't get your name.
Yeah, I've been with your, I am at the right meeting. I'm also new to the area. So I moved to Harleysville in July, and I'm in playground. So I've been looking for ways that I can just get involved in the community, help out with anything. And then so saw that there was a recreation meeting and a park meeting coming up in the last couple weeks, so just gonna stop by and introduce myself and if there's anything I can do to get involved or help out.
Could we get your name?
Yeah, my name's Matthew Burke. I work for a company called Comcam. We design and build playgrounds, but I didn't need a great year, so perfectly compliant, safety, like anything like that. If I've been helped, I know people who can. So I thought that I hope I'm a good resource for that. I don't know a lot, but I know playgrounds. And I can find something that's good and be help out. I usually mostly build on buildings, build on for a long time. I'm probably about 100 players. Philadelphia with the Park and Recreation District. Locally, I've done Sourton, Memorial Playground recently, then Bakertown Memorial Park, about a year ago, starting to do more. That was it, just interested in lending a hand if you can. And
The one on Weil Avenue, the newest
yeah,
one,
yeah, we're gonna-
that looks amazing.
Yeah, that's kind of why I got the list. I was living in Philadelphia and started working with and another church. And they introduced me to Borough and started working on that project in community meeting and was in the park, and then I lived at Park Crossing down the street. And they were building these houses as I was working on this playground project, and I fell in love with the area. Carried on and fell in love with it through that project. And then we moved here, bought a house, and had a child and another kid on the way, so raising kids.
Awesome.
So I was really happy to be here. And have me.
Yeah, welcome.
It's a great
Do
area.
you have a card or anything that we could pass along?
22 miles of walking track.
Could have been up that I counted.
So we're up to 22.
My work
now.
township.
Oh, really?
Amazing.
I'm gonna.
22 miles. We're up to.
I think it's, yeah.
And then that way we can pass it around to everybody.
For what it was like.
Our public works director may have needs and opportunities for maintenance and, you know, who knows? What we can use.
Very.
Awesome. Thanks a lot for coming out and showing interest.
Thank you.
Welcome to the lower south. All right, now we'll go to planning commission.
There was nothing on the agenda last week. When I say nothing, there were no land developments. Well, they discussed all the zoning revisions to village commercial, and they also, I think that's all they did.
Yeah, that was the main focus.
Yeah, there were no land developments on the agenda last week.
Okay, we'll go through our park updates, all for park.
Well, that sign locating the ball fields that I said isn't there, it is there, but it's so faded that you really have you can't really read it until you're right on top of it.
The
So,
ball field map.
yeah, we could probably use a new one of those, or somebody just use a Sharpie and make it so that you can at least read it.
These have Doug take
Where's that
a
near?
ball field map. It's right by field one, right?
Yeah, it's just you go in the main
Straight ahead.
driveway and it's on the right.
Okay.
And I literally walked by it or rode my bike by it and
I
didn't
can't
even
see
see
it,
it,
it's there,
but
yeah.
it's there.
Okay.
There is a picnic table bench. You know, that row of picnic tables, not under the pavilion, but out next to the parking lot. There's a bench that goes like this. It's not cracked, but
Just bowed.
it's
It's work.
interesting, yeah.
It's a metal bench?
No, wood,
Oh, it's a wood.
yes,
Some character.
it does have character. I'm just waiting for somebody to break it. I guess I didn't mention they took out 2 pine trees right near the playground there. I guess there was a reason for that. 2 big pine trees are gone.
Were they diseased or dying or dead?
I don't know,
Why'd they take out the pine trees?
I don't.
They're having premature degradation of the mold. And it may have something to do with that. I know Doug's focused on trying to improve the drainage and prevent the stuff from decomposing so fast, because it's decomposing as fast as they put it down.
Okay, because there's still
Mine
just
too.
2 of them are now gone.
Where'd the
Um,
go?
There's a broken water fountain. I don't know how that happened. Has a concrete base. But they have that orange prime seed fence around it. So I don't think anybody's gonna miss it, but I guess it's gonna get
It was
fixed.
vandalized.
Sorry to hear that.
Cameras in, I guess the
Not
camera.
yet.
Oh, I wondered. I mean, somebody really worked
Well,
with
someone
someone to
called
break
us one
that.
day and said it looked like it had been vandalized and the water would stop running. When they got out there, it was worse than what they're calling it.
Obliterated. Okay, well, I'm gonna end on a high note because our mystery flag person has taken down the snowman and now there's a spring flag. I don't know who's doing it, but it's really cool.
Spreading cheer.
Yes.
I did walk it to take pictures, which I did pass on Holly, and I saw the storybook. It's
Yeah,
really cute.
great.
Yeah,
They need to get a new one now.
yeah, I kept going, I was like, oh, I'll read the next page, I'll read the next page. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
it's really
Speaking
cute.
of the story, a grand opening or
Dedication.
dedication. Yeah. Very soon.
Oh,
What day
nice.
is it? Do you remember, Karen?
I just want to guess at April.
April? I can email everyone and let them know, because you're more than welcome
The
to.
dates were still in flux, I think. The
Yes,
last-
that's correct.
Yeah, I don't think there's a firm date yet, so as soon as there is a firm date, I'm sure you'll hear more about that.
Okay,
Okay,
that's it.
Fergie Mill,
Mark.
So, I think I messed up 2 months ago when I said, I mixed it up with Gross Mill, but Bergie Mill's the one with the big potholes and could use gravel.
okay,
There's a lot of mud spots and a lot of just big erosion. And you just get the water sitting there in the parking lot.
okay,
Other than that, I didn't see any other maple tapping or anything like that, to walk up to the. Reservoir or whatever, but no, everything else looked good.
great. Briarwick Park,
Looks good. I was there, whatever the nice day was, Sunday. And the playground was being used, but the playground at Broadway for little ones. So there were like 3 families using the playground, which is really cute. The pond was a little green, but just a little, nothing to worry about. So other than that, everything looks good.
How did the fish stocking go?
Really, really well.
That was Friday, right, at Briarwick and
Yes. We've stocked 3 ponds with rainbow trout, Briarwick. And Alderford Road pond, right there by the stuff from Bergie's carpeting and floor coverings.
Yeah.
And Dan Roth. And at Dan Roth, we had 2 groups of school children there.
No,
The preschoolers from the YMCA were the first group. We didn't mix them up. And then the other group were the Seasons group from the charter school. They're 6th graders. And they get to scoop fish out of the tanks and put them into
Oh, how
the
fun.
pond. It is such a treat to watch some of these kids because they've never seen a fish, held a fish. Yeah, you haven't really seen a fish other than little fish and maybe Walmart or something. So it was a lot of fun. We had a good time.
very
Even
good.
though it was raining, did not dampen anyone's spirits, that's for sure.
Good to hear. Booker Park. Everything's good at Booker as far as I know. I think that bench is still bent out there, but we definitely got that message to Doug.
I did report that to Doug.
Yep.
I showed him that picture that Mark sent me.
Danners Park,
It's not on there.
That looks good. That's right near my house. It looks fine.
Ruff's Mill,
since we're on a bench journey, one of the backboards are missing on the one bench at the park.
okay,
And there's a lot of, they just need to cut around it. It's been covered for quite a while.
and that's at where?
Gross Mill, as you walk on the path,
Okay,
there's one bench. It'd be really nice to put a picnic table next to it. But there is one bench, but again, it's missing one of the backboards.
okay,
And so if anybody sat, it'd be a problem.
so bench needs repair.
Repair and just a cleanup around it so you can get to it. It's all weeds. The Playground be nice. There, anyway, it's such a pretty walk that it's a shame that there's not more benches to sit
Yeah.
or, like I said, a picnic table, because it does have some really nice views of the water running.
It's Lower Stafford's best kept secret.
I know.
Right.
Dun, dun.
I take that out of the minutes.
I won't put that in it.
Heckler Plains Farmstead, we talked a little bit about the barn, a little bit about the house. Is there anything else out there? Pete's not here to report. Holly, do you know of anything?
No. Other than, I think maybe Joan, and you're aware of this last year, Charlie Ball used the ball fields out there. For the Thunderbirds softball, it's for practice, it's not for like tournaments or anything like that. But he will be utilizing them again this year, and he's going to be making them, redressing them, I guess, putting in pitchers mounds, plates, the whole 9 yards, marking them. So you might see some improvements on the ball fields. Summer, yeah,
Great, good to have them used.
yes.
Oak Road Pond looks good. Park Avenue Fields,
We have a tree dead on the walkway. The last tree, the very last tree, like really dead. The field is covered.
The
Yes.
tree was reported last month.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I think I reported it previously,
Okay,
but I think they'll probably do all the trees at the same time, I'm assuming.
yeah,
Right. Okay, the main field has covers on the fields and on the practice field, there's a smaller spot there. I don't know how he did it, but with that windstorm that came by, they stayed.
awesome.
Yeah, you see the ripples from the wind. Not one piece moved.
Good.
It's amazing how it made it stay. I'm like, it's gonna fall, it's gonna hurt. No, it stayed. So it'll be interesting to see when you pull up the cover, what's gonna look like.
It's gonna look amazing.
Yeah, I did see some of the lacrosse, I guess the coach pulling some lacrosse stuff out, but then they left. So I don't know if they went.
They
They
brought
were
it.
practicing. Okay,
Center.
yeah.
See.
Oh, they are?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's okay though, because the
I know.
field needs a chance.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's good.
Everything's working together, actually
Yeah.
worked out quite nicely. Best I can tell, right, Helen?
No one said anything to me.
Great.
Yeah. Yeah, I did see the locations for the cameras. I saw 2. I didn't see 3 markings.
I'm just aware of 2 cameras.
Is it 2?
Yeah.
Park,
Park,
not Park,
Park Avenue.
Park
Field.
Avenue, six.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure.
Wherever we're putting them, there seems to be 2.
Okay.
There's one that's stationary and one that completely does,
360.
a 360.
Okay, so I did see 2. Okay, so I thought 3. But yeah, other than that, it looks good.
Cool. All right, Reed Park.
Yeah.
I did note when I went to take pictures and do the board, I noticed the bushes around the flag area was all gone.
Doug is working on cleaning that up.
Yeah, I was like, oh, we got the complete haircut, completely haircut.
Yeah. It's gotten to the point where it was beyond.
Yeah, it was,
It's
it was,
beyond.
yeah, you couldn't like walk through, yeah.
Rife Park.
Things are looking pretty good over there. We got some good news today. So we won the Governor's Award for Environmental Excellence
Wow.
for the project we did over in the floodplain.
Congratulations.
So that will be April 25th, and I'll let everybody know. That just happened today. I'll let everybody know as details become available.
That's so exciting.
And then we're working on Rife Park 2 for another big stormwater project. So we submitted a letter of intent to the grant agency, and they accepted the letter and they invited us to do a full proposal. So we're working with Mary at CKS and then also our biologist to put that together.
Awesome.
But my guess is that will be positive because they were really happy, with the last project we did there. So I would imagine we would get that. And then that will probably most likely be for somewhere around $100,000 for that.
Awesome.
Then we'll work with Doug's crew on that. As far as the greenhouses go, we talked a little bit about it. So everything's pretty much in. We're just waiting for Pico, and that was kind of an ordeal to get Pico to come out there. So at least 20 phone calls and emails to get them out there. So I finally nailed them down to April 13th. But then they're also not happy with the transformer that's there on the pole. So they said that they're going to come back sometime over the summer and replace the transformer on the pole. So nothing to do with us, but there will be about 6 hours, they said, that the power will be off. Pretty much to that block, if you want to call it, because they'll take that transformer down and redo it. But they just said if there's going to be increased activity, they didn't like the look of that transformer. So they'll replace that. And then the last thing I wanted to just kind of put out there, there's a little tributary that we realigned with our last project, and we would like to put a little walking bridge over it. So I don't know what we have to do for that, but I have this grand vision for some sort of trail, like a little just footpath down there. Just so you could be at the farm and then kind of cross over that creek to kind of look at the stormwater area. Because I imagine we'll have school groups out there that'll want to go and look at all of that. So I don't know what the process is for that. I was thinking less than like an engineered bridge, if that makes sense.
That was gonna be my question. How elaborate is it? Are you looking at stepping stones? Are you looking at a bridge? Is it a metal structure? Is it a wooden structure?
Well, I have a bunch of pressure treated 8x8s left over what I bought from
project?
Ken. That's kind of what I was hoping for, but I don't know if that's
How big of a span is it?
Bring it up, Doug.
maybe 6 feet.
Yeah, talk to Doug.
Say it's about 6 feet, yeah.
The span's about 6 feet, but this 8x8s are 14 feet.
Right,
Yeah, they're significant.
front of this, Doug.
Yes, okay.
It's definitely something you can do.
Just so we're on the same page, the April 25th thing, is that when you're getting the award? Is
That's
it-
the award. It's out in Harrisburg.
It's not gonna be here.
No, it'll be
Okay.
Harrisburg, because it's like, I think they do environmental awards all over the state.
Gotcha.
So then they all convene in Harrisburg at the Pennsylvania Environmental. Shit, they-
Awesome. Congratulations.
Yes, well, you get to see me in a suit. No,
All right, Roth Park, we heard about the fish stocking. Is there anything that's going on out there?
The cameras are installed at both park now.
Okay,
That's efficient. There's a camera that points permanently at the gazebo in the pavilion. And then there's another one that does a 360 that goes all the way around. So you can see the parking lots, the houses across the street. It's pretty incredible how clear in the technology.
It's very safe here, don't think.
No. We used a grant to do that. We used big grant. We were like, oh, we'll just do this. So that's what we did.
just trying to keep it safe and
Right.
if somebody wants to smash a water fountain, hopefully we have,
Yeah, we did quite a bit of vandalism over the last several
Yeah.
years.
hopefully they'll be
Surfing things and.
Yeah.
dealt with. Trail report. They're gonna start to come to life. I've seen lots of activity on a couple of these warm days.
Start to what?
Come
Yeah.
to life, our trails.
Oh, yeah, we got
I know,
that.
remember whoever blew out that tree? Came off of all of her road.
Yes.
There's a seedling nearby. Did the person like serve penance or something?
I think we.
There's a baby tree there.
Might have
Maybe they found guilty.
Yeah.
Look at that tree. It's got like 10 years to catch up. And the other thing, I've seen a few e-bikes on the trail. What do we do about that? One gentleman I know, a friend of mine, her husband was like almost mowed down by one and he's in his 70s and
Well, that would be a motorized,
Yeah, no motorized. vehicles.
Montgomery County is developing a new policy for like the Perkiomen Trail. I think they're supposed to ratify it later
Really?
this month or
Okay.
next month.
But no,
Um,
no.
Yeah,
And it's just adopted from the, or adapted from the DCNR's or e-bike policy. So I think everybody was waiting for the DCNR to kind of say something, and now it seems like everybody's kind of following suit.
And what is that policy?
Basically, it says under a certain, it's not CC, but whatever, yeah, under a certain speed or motor size or battery size, it's perfectly allowable, basically what they're saying.
How would you know if it's bad variant? Like if this could zoom by, how do you know that they're below or above? You know, like-
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's a little bit of a sticky situation, but I think there's a speed and then there's something else that goes with it. But I guess they're more or less allowing them everywhere except when they get above a certain point, then it's considered a motorized, and I think it has to have pedals. But there's a lot of
Okay.
e-bikes now that don't have pedals. Which is like, I mean, that's a motorbike.
It's responsible and it's not, and they're a novice rider, they're not experienced. E-bikes are rather a new thing, so. A lot of people might not have that experience that they need on them, might not even know that they need to let an
Signal
oncoming
people.
person let them know that, you know, to the left, to the right, like you do when you ski,
Yeah,
you know, that type of thing, so.
Brian,
Because
can you
bikers
keep
can-
us posted on,
Oh, yeah, when they, yeah, and you contract with the planning commission or no, Holly?
we do.
You do, okay, I'm not sure if they would know, but I can keep in touch with Parks.
Okay.
'Cause they'd be great.
Right, I just saw something briefly.
Yeah.
That's just put in an email and they haven't posted it, do not exceed 20 miles an hour. And the motor cannot exceed 700 people.
Okay, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
thank you.
And you, have fully functional operable pedal. So everything is-
Yeah,
Like licensing, just like a regular bicycle does, not that people do that, but I know that you can get a bike license at the police department.
Please go.
Yeah.
15 miles an hour on
That's
a.
fast.
yeah. But I mean, I don't know, is that on the Montgomery County website?
This is only.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I guess I would follow suit with that, just because.
How do you regulate it?
Yeah,
You know, like,
exactly.
it's not like, you know, register your e-bike.
It's very similar when you get a phone call saying that somebody is riding an ATV or a bike when it's dark. Usually,
Right.
when it snows, everyone's like, woo, let's go out and take my ATV out. And then, of course, when they get there, they're gone.
Right.
Right.
I mean, in the movies, they take a stick.
Yeah, I just wanted to report it because she said her husband got taken
I'll
out.
probably see more.
Something to continue discussions, we may have to amend our rules.
Yeah.
to do that.
I remember last time speaking, Charles, I think it was last year, we talked about all the signs that were gonna get replaced in order, we looked at design.
Yeah.
Is that underway? I mean, or just an update on that?
The signs, I gave them all to Doug Jones. I'm not sure what he's done with them.
Oh, so we got them back.
Oh,
They just need to be installed?
no, I don't know. I said he got.
The yucky signs are.
Signs are on this list, because every time we go by one.
I know.
Yeah.
One on 113 in Sunny Town by the Exxon.
Oh, my God.
It's all bent and.
Yeah, I'm so sad.
113 and 63,
Yeah, right by Exxon.
and what does that one say?
Roseville this way. And I can't
And
believe.
then, I guess,
Something town.
yeah, something.
Some of those might be state signs.
Yeah, that might be.
Yeah.
I thought you meant like welcome to.
No, I do mean those. Those are the ones we saw.
Yeah.
Okay,
Trails and everything.
good to know.
Trail sign.
Right along to Camp Wawa.
Oh, that's good down there. Good, a lot of dog walkers this weekend. But otherwise good, and I know there's a couple piles of stone down there, but I know Doug has a plan for it. Great.
Kiosks, Amy has access to the kiosk.
Well. At least one side of every two, yeah.
We're making progress.
Yeah. All the signs are up, all the maps are up. All the things that you gave me are up. Well,
Good. The quick reference thing.
yes. I'm MacGyver and everything seems to work.
I started thinking, giving me the stuff to put up on court, but I have given her no feedback. So I went through the office, I scrounged.
Oh, my God.
them, and I couldn't find hardly any, so I ordered a box for it.
Oh,
Yeah, we'll mention the name of work.
right. That's
Okay.
fine.
Yeah.
Dunk tank for April 22nd fundraiser for soccer at Alter Park. This is something that's been done in the past, or we,
That's been done in the past. I just wanted to let you guys know and get official approval from you.
okay, do I hear a motion to approve the use for a,
You gonna be in it? Motion to approve.
Andy makes a motion, just to be clear, I won't be in it. Andy and Amy, any other questions about the dunk tank? All those in favor say aye. Opposed? All right, we're going to allow the dunk tank. Good luck to the soccer organization. We have a summer meeting schedule. We're gonna meet in May and June. And we are not gonna meet in July and August. If anything comes up during that time, reach out. Email someone. We'll see what we can do to figure it out.
There's an April meeting, right?
Yep,
Oh,
yeah, we're still gonna meet next month as well. Harleysville Summer Camp will again be looking to use the Booker Park. Yes, Booker Park.
Yes.
I don't know why I was thinking that was the wrong part. In limited capacity for some of their older kids for basketball. It's only like an hour, it's a very limited period of time. They formalized their request to you, Holly, is that correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So are there any questions or concerns regarding that? It's not traditionally a park that we allow organized play, and this is semi-organized, so we just want to be above board and. Yeah, I guess maybe have a motion to approve the use. To approve. Andy?
Andy Ryan.
Brian? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that is good to go. The HCC storm basins, I don't think the test pits were dug yet, or were they?
Don't think so. Unless Doug get him.
The HCC basins, were the test pits dug? There was a chance that that was gonna happen last week.
I don't think so.
Okay.
What's HEC and who's?
Harleysville Community Center.
We did meet out at the other side of the community center
Okay,
for the
rain garden,
rain garden that we're gonna do with North Penn Water.
awesome.
Yeah, so I think that's all set. With North Penn Water and Doug and CKS.
Okay. So then we'll just wanna, at some point, reach out when planting time comes to make sure if we can involve school, baseball,
absolutely.
any other scouts.
Yep.
All right. Proposed directional sign in Alderford, it sounds like that's all coming together from what I could see now.
The only, thing I'm waiting for is the developer no longer owns a majority of the property out there anymore, so it is now the HOA's decision before when they owned the majority of it. And they were on the HO,
Yeah, right.
they had so many lots within the HOA, they could make that decision. But now they have to get it in front of the HOA because that property is not the township's. So we'll need an easement from the solicitor's office for us to maintain and take care of that sign. Because it is open space maintained by the homeowners association.
It would seem to me it's in their best interest.
Yeah,
to-
right.
That's
Yeah.
our biggest point is that
I don't think they're gonna give us a problem.
Is there a timeline for those trail connectors that are gonna leave that development and go over toward Oliver?
they're already connected, right?
No, there's a partially paved. There's like macadam and it stops, and then it's mud, and then there's Oliver Park. And then it looks like parallel to the parking lot when you drive in, not the parking lot, when you drive in, parallel to that, it looks like they graded it to maybe put in a trail that would be next to the driveway, but that's not completed either.
You're talking where you get close to that sign that you're talking.
Yeah, right.
I think Doug's been working with them and the engineer to work on water diverting
Yeah.
and trying to get it all
Okay.
squared away. So I think it's a
Okay.
work in progress.
Okay,
That
good,
area.
good.
Because eventually the parking lot expansion goes over there.
Oh,
The new
that's right.
fields get leveled off over there.
Right.
So that portion's definitely
Okay.
under control or
That's
construction.
That's my neighborhood,
Okay.
so if you guys need any information. But as far as I know, the HOA saying that they're not done, the trail's not connected.
Right,
So, like, it runs the dirt point and then
And
it
it
stops.
stops.
Yep.
It's the, stuff that they have on site, they're not at that development yet. It's then across the street and the post office.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
They're still there, I think, we say July, August, we're actually off that.
Okay.
So your development is like 90% done, 95% done? Okay,
Well, if you go.
yeah.
Heard them. Because, I mean, the reality is it helps people not go the wrong way. It will prevent a lot of confusion and prevent a lot of unnecessary traffic.
Yeah, that's where you guys proposing, because I know the entrance is the.
Just a really nice park sign that says park entrance, the arrow that way.
Towards your house.
But now the sign's up really high and
It's
it's
tiny.
little.
It's just really hard to.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. They have a picture of it and everything, so, I mean, it's a pretty.
It's similar to the other-
Awesome. Grant for field usage consultant update, Holly.
Yes, we received a grant for a consultant who's already in the park at a certificate, he's Upper Gwinnett. He's in another township currently, works there full time, but he has a master's or a doctorate in this type of thing. I'm not sure. Seems Derek. Sure it's not. To help us determine the usage of our fields, how they're currently being used by our sporting organizations, like overall. And we're getting these 3 new fields, as you're all aware of, which is
Next year.
right there next to you. And we've had a lot of, as you know, a lot of interest from the existing sporting organizations. But currently, we do not charge for our fields. So we just want someone to give us more expert advice on what other places may be doing with their fields and how they handle them and, should we put in another pickleball court? I don't know. We've had someone come to this meeting and ask us to put in tennis courts.
Right.
Because there
Yeah.
are no public.
Actually, your
courts in our
neighbor.
Township.
So
So,
bodies? Yeah. So he
so
was,
yeah,
oh.
I do remember that
Yeah.
now, yes.
So he lives in this area.
Small world.
And anyway, so that will be starting April 1st is when that contract begins, and I think we have 6 weeks with him, something like that. You could probably take him around, and maybe it's something that park board could get involved with as well.
Great.
Yeah,
Definitely will be interested.
yeah. May have him come to our April park board meeting.
Yeah, and it's,
I'd be curious.
let's try to get as much information as we can.
I'm curious, like what he looks at, the demographic.
Yes. Well, those are the
Yeah,
things.
just the-
And things that we might think of, but time wise, I don't have it,
Right.
and you folks all have jobs outside of this building, so yeah, it's busy right now.
Awesome, good to hear.
And it's free for us, which is even better.
Awesome.
Really great.
Amy's out there taking pictures. If anybody else takes pictures, forward them along to Holly and she'll do her best.
Get the thing with my picture, so I'm gonna give it to you.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, I just have to do a couple more. I want to try to do in spring, so you can see how
Yes,
busy
me
this is.
too.
Right,
That would be
like, right now, it's kind of dead.
Yeah, I really like the map we have out in our, have you gotten feedback on it? The new map? Yeah, that went out.
Nobody said anything to me.
Really?
Well, that's fine.
Yeah, I guess that's better than.
Oh, by the way, I'm bored and it's great. If they would.
Even the QR code, does anybody
QR
ever send feedback on the parks or nothing? And we got those at the parks, right, in the kiosks?
Yeah,
No news is good news. Everybody's. Gonna go.
It's great.
Mark Kelly apologizes for missing the meeting.
Very good.
And he does have a quick report at Booker. There's a basketball court bench that's got a sharp edge.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
He sent this via email to all of us, Holly, so I guess give us mergers in, yeah. Roth, he had a concern about a fence out there and Dan Earth. A sign fading issue.
there's this.
Yeah.
So he apologizes for his absence and he did get his report in regardless, so. Good stuff.
Yeah, and the trail committee. We don't,
Oh,
I don't know when we're meeting next. There's a whole bunch of,
Not till May,
yeah,
yeah, 2 months.
yeah, there's a lot
That's,
of.
I put it on here because I knew you just met in February and I that they're not meeting.
There was a lot of, a lot of focus on Little Rock, that village and what could be done, yeah.
That's
So
a
depending
challenge.
on the 113 bypass, the years.
Oh, my word.
The
Yeah,
township did provide McMahon with a 500 feet yard, whatever it is, circumference around Lead Rock
Oh, yeah.
of people who we should contact.
And it's just for walking. The
walking
traffic's really not that bad.
With the
I
lights.
mean, it backed
yeah.
up.
It gets pretty backward.
Doesn't-
Yeah.
if you're going north on 113 and other car, because there's only one lane and somebody turn left, you get stuck behind that.
When's the piano bar open?
I know.
Honestly, it should just be trucks and then you'll find it. I know.
You make a left on Sharon and then you make a right on Hudson.
Yeah.
It's true.
I do
All
have
right.
one quick thing, if that's okay.
Yes.
May 11th, the Montgomery County Conservation District is going to tour the stormwater features at Wright. But I just wanted to open that up if anybody else is interested. You're welcome to come. It'll be a little walking tour, 9 a.m. It's just stormwater, the stormwater stuff.
9 a.m. you said.
9 a.m. Yeah, right there.
Okay.
But I think Chris Canavan is on that. So I'm sure he'll be there too.
Awesome. Any other new business? I'm sorry, we have a new. Yes.
I was at the HOA meeting downstairs, I just wanted to pop in.
Oh.
Shoot it tomorrow, but
Well, would you like to adjourn the meeting? Hear a motion, do I hear a second?
Oh, second.
All those
Oh,
in favor, say aye. Opposed? All right, it looks like we're, sorry.